Just bring us up to speed on what's been happening between Russia and Ukraine over the past few nights.
Yes, I think most people are aware, particularly over the last few weeks, we've seen an escalation of strikes, ballistic missile and drone strikes on Kyiv, the Ukrainian capital. That's somewhat morphed in the last few days this week, with a lot more strikes on Ukrainian towns and cities, particularly on the border regions of either occupied Ukraine, for example, Kherson and Zaporizhzhia, and also Chernihiv up in the north, which is very close to the Russian border, only half an hour or so away. And these have been targeted primarily because of the closeness to Russian forces. So strapping on jet engine technology onto drones enables them to bypass the interceptors and get to their targets much faster, whilst also taking advantage of the fact that everyone knows that Ukraine are really struggling with interceptors in the first place, largely because of the US pivot back to the Middle East with their interceptors for their allies in Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, but then also because of the nature of the industrial backlog. To order these interceptors can take 18 months to 2 years quite easily. So there's a huge now global demand for essentially an American monopolised military technology. These interceptors capable of taking down the ballistic missiles, and this is going to target Ukraine all the way now through to the winter, as the land campaign in the Donbass in the eastern Ukraine largely is stagnant and rather, the stale sort of element on the front, not which side is gaining or counter-gaining much ground at the moment.
Yeah, especially whether President Trump wants to admit it or not, because they've used an awful lot of their munitions against Iran, haven't they? Although we're not entirely clear on exactly how much, it seems like they are well depleted.
Precisely.
Why is Russia targeting these areas in particular? Is that quite a shift in its strategy?
Well, I mean, if we look at Odessa as an example, that's come under renewed attack again today in the last sort of 12 to 24 hours. And Odessa is obviously the main port on the Black Sea for Ukraine. It sends virtually all of its grain and its exports out to through the Black Sea and globally. So Russia have been trying to campaign against, trying to take Odessa really by stealth for the last sort of several years, with the ability to almost pin down Ukrainian troops and, crucially, what remains of their interceptors and their air defences in Odessa, allows Russia much more freedom of manoeuvre to attack, for example, Kyiv, Chernihiv, Kherson, Zaporizhzhia, wherever. So it's this idea of really sort of, split Ukraine's forces, split their ability to actually defend, and target at will, really.
Yeah, I mean, Ukraine's obviously had some success with its drone firepower attacking inside Russia. Any sense of how this is going to play out over the coming days, then?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Ukraine's very successful, to be fair, long-range strike capability into Russia, targeting, Russian infrastructure, Russia's factory, munitions, and that will certainly be a facet continuing. But I think really the ability now for Russia to continue hitting these border regions, these border towns and cities, putting so much pressure now on the Ukrainian population, this is going to have an even worse effect as we start to roll into what's obviously been a very warm summer here in the UK. But as we go down into winter and the autumn months in Ukraine, it's going to be bitterly cold. They'll continue targeting these, these towns and these cities, energy infrastructure, things like this, and it's going to really, really pressure the Ukrainians.